Father's house shall be a house of prayer.
My Father's house shall be a house of prayer. My Father's house shall be a house of prayer. My Father's house shall be a house of prayer. My Father's house shall...
Sermon was from the book of Genesis, chapter 32, from 22 to the end. I'm just going to add the first 2 verses in that chapter to the text. And Jacob went on his way, and the angels of God met him. And when Jacob saw them, he said, "This is God's host." And he called the name of that place Mahanaim. And he rose up that night and took his 2 wives and his 2 women servants and his 11 sons and passed over the ford Jabbok. And he took them and sent them over the brook and sent over that he had. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. When he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. And he said, "Let me go, for the day breaketh." And he said, "I will not let thee go, except thou bless me." And he said unto him, "What is thy name?" And he said, "Jacob." And he said, "Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and hast prevailed." And Jacob asked him and said, "Tell me, I pray thee, thy name." And he said, "Wherefore is it that thou dost ask after my name?" And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. And as he passed over Peniel, the sun rose upon him, and he halted upon his thigh. Therefore the children of Israel eat not of the sinew which shrank, which is upon the hollow of the thigh unto this day, because he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh in the sinew that shrank. Now, the verse we zeroed in on was, he said, "Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and hast prevailed." And I just want to share with you from that sermon this morning. Doesn't matter what you may have done in your life. Doesn't matter who people might call you. Doesn't matter what name they might give you. It doesn't matter what box they might put you in. What is important is what God calls you. And God calls you his child. God says you are a child of God. You're a saint. You're a Christian. Doesn't matter what anybody else wants to judge you to be based on anything from your past. You are God's child. You have wrestled with men and with God and prevailed. So you're a prince. Praise God. You may have done some things, but you're not who people are saying you are because of you did those things. You're who God says you are. Keep that thought whenever anyone judges you to be something that you know you're not. You're God's child. You are who God says you are. Praise God.
Shall be a house of prayer. My Father's house shall be a house of prayer. My Father's house shall be a house of prayer. My Father's house shall be a house of prayer. My Father's house shall be a house of prayer.